A touching reunion, how Luis brought back his pit bull, Titus. 4 months ago, Luis Jimenez made one of the most difficult decisions of his life. Due to the threat of eviction, he was forced to temporarily surrender his pit bull, Titus, to a shelter, where they had first met. This separation was a trial for both of them, but the owner's love and persistence ultimately led to a happy reunion. Luis and Titus first met in 2013 at the Austin Animal Center in Texas. Luis hadn't intended to adopt a pit bull, but seeing the active, joyful dog running around with sparkling eyes, he realized a special bond had developed between them. Over the next 5 years, Titus became more than just a pet, he became part of the family and accompanied Luis in his daily life. An unexpected crisis when Luis faced eviction, he was informed that Titus could not be adopted into his new living situation. The man had no family members willing to temporarily take in the dog, and finding a place to live with him was impossible on short notice. He was forced to leave Titus at the shelter, a decision that broke his heart, even though there were no other options. It was unbearable, I had no choice, but I couldn't get him out of my mind, Luis recalls of those days. Life in the shelter and signs of longing. 4 months of separation took a toll on the dog's mood. Outside his cage, Titus displayed his usual cheerfulness and affection, but behind bars, he became depressed and withdrawn. The staff and volunteers did everything they could, walking him, giving him attention, and playing, but nothing replaced a permanent home and a familiar routine with a person he trusted. Observed changes in Titus's behavior included decreased activity inside the enclosure and apathy, a loss of his former enthusiasm for games, a bright joy at every meeting with Luis, which, however, quickly faded after returning to boxing. Unwavering determination. Despite the suffering, Luis persevered. He visited Titus regularly, constantly called the shelter, and each time tried to spend at least a little time with the dog. These rituals maintained their bond and gave them hope of returning to their life together. 4 months later, Luis's efforts were crowned with success. He managed to find a place to take his pet. The moment Luis entered the shelter, the reunion scene was filled with genuine emotion. Titus rushed toward his owner, his tail wagging wildly, and literally embraced him with all his devotion. Tears appeared in Luis's eyes. The staff and volunteers also showed their excitement. The brief effect of the reunion, a feeling of relief, gratitude, and joy that could barely fit in the heart. Lessons learned. This story highlights how deep and powerful the bond between a person and an animal can be. A few key takeaways: genuine love for a pet can be a powerful motivator and never wavers under pressure. The ongoing support of volunteers and shelter staff plays a crucial role in maintaining hope and the animal's emotional well-being. Shelters are more than just temporary refuge. They preserve the bond between animal and person and help reunite pets when possible. After his return, Titus quickly adapted. He explored the yard, enjoyed the sofa, and gradually regained his normal rhythm of life with Luis. The shelter staff who cared for him during his separation felt relieved and proud. Their efforts were not in vain. The story of Luis and Titus is an example of how patience, perseverance, and mutual devotion can overcome difficult times and lead to a happy ending. Even when circumstances seem insurmountable, the warm bond between a human and an animal can bring joy back to a home. Conclusion: the shelter's care, the daily dedication of volunteers, and the owner's unwavering faith made this touching reunion possible. Titus returned home, and their story is a reminder of the power of interspecies bonding.